Professor V. Muralidhar is serving as head, Department of Mathematics, Mohammed Satak College of Arts and Science, Chennai. He has 23 years of teaching experience. He has attended 3 international and 5 national conferences. He was a resource person at the Mohammed Satak Teachers Training College in Chennai in 2012, where he spoke on History of Mathematical Genius Ramanujan. He was elected Academic Counselor, University of Madras during 2003-06. He has attended the Orientation and Refresher courses at the Academic Staff College, University of Madras. He specializes in stochastic modeling and has rich experience in discrete mathematics, operations research, statistical methods, and numerical analysis.
Welcome to UGC lecture series. In the last session, we have seen discrete probability distributions. The first one is binomial distribution, second is Poisson distribution. For these two distributions, we have seen different properties, how to compute mean, variance, moment generating functions, and we have also seen some of the simple characteristics and the properties of these distributions. Today in this session, we start with geometric distribution. Geometric distribution and negative binomial distribution. First we will see geometric distribution. A geometric distribution is a random variable x which is assumes only non-negative values, and the probability function is given by q power x into p, where x takes the values 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. and a p value lies between 0 and 1, where q is 1 minus p, and once you put x is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. in the probability function, we get q naught into p and then q into p and q power 2 into p, then q power 3 into p etc. Actually this one is nothing but a various terms of a geometric progression, where the first term is p and all the common ratio is q. Hence the corresponding geometric progression is p, q into p, q square into p, q cube into p etc. Hence the distribution is called a geometric distribution. What are the different properties of geometric distribution? First one, a geometric distribution is a discrete probability distribution taking discrete set of values x 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. and the mean of a geometric distribution, as usual we have to compute expectation of x. So sigma x into q power x into p. So once you expand and simplify, you get q by p. Similarly variance of geometric distribution is q by p square, and moment generating function is defined as expectation of e power tx. So sigma e power tx into q power x into p. So once you expand and simplify, we get p by 1 minus q e power t. Now another important property of geometric distribution is lack of memory property. So in this the geometric distribution is said to have a lack of memory in some sense or in certain sense, that is, suppose an event e can occur at one of the times t is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. and the occurrence time x or the waiting time x has a geometric distribution with the parameter p, then probability of x is equal to t is given by q power t into p, where t takes the value 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. Suppose we know that event e has not occurred before the time k, then for all x greater than or equal to t, you take y is equal to x minus k, then your y is the amount of additional time that is needed for the event e to occur. Hence we have the following probability, that is probability that y is equal to 1 given x greater than or equal to k is same as probability that x is equal to t, where both follows geometric. Hence we get p into q power t. Also this gives the important characteristic of your geometric distribution, and next we will have some of the simple problems based on geometric distribution. First one, if the probability is 0.04 that a certain kind of measuring device will show excessive drift, what is the probability that the eighth of these measuring devices tested will be the first to show excessive drift. See, in this problem, if you see, the probability of excessive drift we denote by P, which is given to be 0.04, and Q is the complement of P, that is 1 minus P, hence we get 1 minus 0.04, hence it is 0.96. Hence probability of eighth of this device will be the first to show excessive drift. It is given by Q power x into P, that is we have Q to be 0.96 whole power 8 into P is 0.04. So this is the required probability that you are having eighth to be the first to show excessive drift. Second one is a die is cast until a 6 appears. What is the probability that it must be cast more than 3 times? See, here in this problem, if you see, you are going to have probability of getting any number is 1 by 6 and Q is 1 minus P. So 1 minus 1 by 6, taking LCM you get 6 minus 1 by 6, that is 5 by 6. Now the probability of more than, see, you say at least 3 times, so you can have more than 3 times, x greater than 3 is 1 minus probability of x less than or equal to 3. So we get 1 minus probability of x is 0 plus probability of x 1 plus probability of x 2 plus probability of x 3. Since this follows geometric distribution, we have P of x to be Q power x into P. So here in this sense you are going to have 5 by 6 power 0 into 1 by 6. So we get first term to be 1 by 6. Now the second term is we have got 1 by 6 into 5 by 6 power 1, then 1 by 6 5 by 6 power 2, then 1 by 6 5 by 6 power 3. So on simplifying we get 671 by 1296, which is 0.518. So on subtracting from 1 we get the required probability to be 0.482. Now let us have a simple exercise problem based on this, which you can try. If the probability is 0.03 that a certain kind of measuring device will show excessive drift, what is the probability that fourth of these measuring devices tested will be the first to show excessive drift? So you can check, and the answer is 0.03 into 0.97 power 4. The next another important discrete distribution is negative binomial distribution. So in this distribution, discrete random variable x is said to follow negative binomial distribution if it takes only non-negative values, and its probability function, or we say probability mass function, which is denoted by P of x, r and p. So it is given by r plus x minus 1 combination c r minus 1, that is given by combination rule into p power r q power x, where x takes the values 0, 1, 2, 3 etc., and it is equal to 0 otherwise. Now in this case we have some of the important properties and conditions. First one is the total probability, here it is 1, where you have summation with respect to both the two components r and x. Second one is r plus x minus 1 c r minus 1 can be written as minus 1 power x into minus r x. So in this case if you take r is equal to 1, it reduces to geometric distribution, that is q power x into p, where this gives the probability of a geometric distribution. And another important thing is your minus r x p power r minus q power x, here x takes the values discrete set of values 0, 1, 2, 3 etc., and this gives a x plus 1th term in the expansion of p power r into 1 minus q power minus r. Actually if you expand this binomially and simplify, the coefficient of x plus 1th term is going to be minus r x p power r into minus q power x, and it is the binomial theorem with the negative index. So here I got minus r, hence it is called a negative binomial distribution. We call this as negative binomial distribution. And fourth one, another representation of negative binomial distribution is if small p is equal to 1 by capital Q and small q is equal to capital P by capital Q, such that your p and q satisfies the following condition, that is q minus p is equal to 1, then we have the above probability function of negative binomial is given as p of x is equal to minus r c x capital Q power minus r minus capital P by capital Q power R, where x takes the value 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. and it is defined as 0 for all other values of x, and this gives general term in the negative binomial distribution Q minus P power R. So practically in all the problems we use this formula to determine the probability function for negative binomial distribution. Another important fifth property is how you calculate moment generating function. See, moment generating function denoted by mx of t is defined as expectation of e power tx, and here since it is a discrete random variable, we get summation x varies from 0 to infinity e power tx into the probability function of negative binomial distribution, which we are giving in terms of capital P and capital Q, that is minus r cx capital Q power minus r minus p by capital Q whole power cap x, and this is nothing but the expansion of capital Q minus p e power t whole power minus r. So if this is your negative binomial distribution, your corresponding mean is given by r into capital P and the variance is given by r into capital P into capital Q. Now let us see an important problem based on this one. So an item is produced in large numbers, the mission is known to produce 5% defective. If a quality control inspector is examining the items by taking them at a random selection, what is the probability that at least 4 items are to be examined in order to get 2 defectives? See, this follows negative binomial because he has given P to be 5% defective, 5 by 100, so we get 0.05, and this is for every trial. Now Q is a complement 1 minus P, we get 1 minus 0.05, so 0.95. Now since 2 defectives are to be obtained in 2 or more trials, this follows negative binomial distribution. Hence the probability of getting at least 4, that is x greater than or equal to 4, is given by P of 4 plus P of 5 etc. up to infinity. So you have to write using the negative binomial distribution. Hence we get sigma x varies from 4 to infinity x minus 1 c 2 minus 1 0.05 power 2, this is 1 minus pi, that is q, which is 0.95 power x minus 2, where x takes the values from 4 to infinity. But here since we wanted to have only 2 defectives and maximum can go up to 4, so trials you have x varying from 2 to 3. So we get x minus 1 c 1 0.05 power 2 0.95 power x minus 2. So first you take x value to be 2 and compute the value, second one you put x is equal to 3, you compute the value. So we get 2 sets of values for this expansion. So 1 minus 0.05 whole square. So once I put 2 minus 1 c1, so 1 c1 is going to be 1, 0.05 power 2, the other one is 0.95 power 2 minus 2, so 0.95 power 0, which is going to be 1, hence we have 0.05 whole power 2, plus the second one is 3 minus 1, that is 2c1, so 2c1 is going to be 2 into 0.05 power 2 into 0.95 power 3 minus 2, hence it is 1. So on simplifying we get 0.995, that is the required probability. Now let us see an important exercise problem. Suppose that 30% of items taken from the end of a production line are defective. If the item taken from the line are checked until 6 defective items are found, what is the probability that 12 items are to be examined? So here you can try this problem by taking negative binomial distribution, and from this you check the probability function, we must get 0.396. Now let us move to another important distribution, continuous distributions, that is continuous distributions we have got uniform distribution, normal distribution, exponential distribution, gamma distributions. Among these 4 distributions we will start with uniform distribution. So whenever I say uniform distribution, it is going to be probability density function is a constant over a certain period. Beyond that period it takes the value 0. Then we call such a function as your probability density function of a uniform distribution. Let us move to uniform distribution. So a random variable x is said to have a continuous rectangular distribution or uniform distribution, which are synonymous, and it is defined over an interval a b if its probability density function is given by f of x is equal to 1 by b minus a if a less than x less than b, and outside the interval the value f of x takes the value 0. Then we call that distribution as a uniform distribution. And let us see some important properties of uniform distribution. First one, uniform distribution is a continuous probability distribution with the parameters a and b, and where a is less than b. Second one is, this distribution is also known as rectangular distribution, since the curve y is equal to f of x describes rectangle over the x axis and between the ordinates at x is equal to a and x is equal to b. That is why it is called a rectangular distribution. And third one is, a uniform or rectangular random variate x is said to be over the interval a b. It is written as capital U of a comma b. So this is a representation for uniform distribution. So if I say U of a b, that means your distribution follows uniform distribution over the interval a b. Fourth one, the cumulative distribution function. For uniform distribution, how you calculate cumulative distribution? Cumulative distribution we denote by capital F of x. It is defined as probability that capital X less than or equal to small x. So since it is continuous, we have got integral. So once you integrate and simplify, you get capital X to be x minus a by b minus a if it is between the limits x less than b and greater than a, and it is equal to 0 otherwise. Then your PDF, another you have important relationship between probability density function and distribution function. See here, probability distribution we denote by capital F of x, that is cumulative distribution, and small f of x is called probability density function. So if you are given density function, if you differentiate the distribution, you get a density function. Hence small f of x is d by dx of capital F of x. On the other hand, if I want to find capital F of x, then I must integrate your small f of x. So both your integration and differentiation are reverse operations. Fifth one, how you calculate moment generating function for uniform distribution. See, in the moment generating function, it is defined as expectation of e power tx. Since it is x is a uniform distribution, we have integral a to b e power tx into f of x dx. Since it is uniform distribution, fx we replace by 1 by b minus a, and here we are integrating with respect to x. So 1 by b minus a is constant, that you can keep as it is. E power tx, if I integrate, you get e power tx by t. Now you substitute upper limit b, you are going to get e power tb minus the lower limit a, e power ta divided by t into b minus a, where your b is greater than a. And how you compute mean and variance for uniform distribution? See, mean is defined as expectation of x, that is integral a to b f of x into f of x dx. Here in our problem, your f of x is 1 by b minus a, on multiplying with x into dx we get corresponding integral. If you integrate this x and simplify, it is going to be x square by 2, upper limit b square minus lower limit a square by b minus a, but b square minus a square can be written as b minus a into b plus a. So b minus a will get cancelled, hence we get a plus b by 2. So this is another important characteristic of your uniform distribution. How you compute variance? Variance we define as expectation of x square minus expectation of x the whole square. So in this, when I say expectation of x square, you have to write like your integral a to b x square into dx by b minus a. If you integrate x square, you get x cube by 3. So you substitute upper limit and lower limit, b cube minus a cube by b minus a. So you have to simplify and expand, you get correspondingly a square plus 2ab plus b square divided by 2. See, on taking LCM with the expectation of x the whole square, e of x you already calculated a plus b by 2. So on substituting and simplifying, we get the variance to be b minus a the whole square divided by 2. So, this gives a mean and variance for a uniform distribution. Next one, the moment generating for uniform distribution, which we already got it to be integral. So, whenever take integral, this since it is a continuous probability distribution, we get a e power t x into your 1 by b minus a into dx. See, from the moment generating function you must know how to calculate the mean and variance. Here we obtained mean and variance by direct method, and we get moment generating. From the moment generating, how you compute mean and variance? See, for this you have to differentiate this moment generating function with respect to x. First time you differentiate, then you put t is equal to 0. So, in this case, if I differentiate this, you are going to get you have e power t b minus e power t a by t into b minus a. So, if I want to differentiate this with respect to t, then you have to use the quotient rule of differentiation. So, once you apply quotient rule here, where we have denominator to be t, see 1 by b minus a is a constant. So, here you got 1 by t and the numerator e power t minus e power t a. So, here if I use quotient rule, first denominator, that is a t into, you differentiate the numerator. If you differentiate, you get b into e power t b minus a into e power t a divided by t into b minus a, and the other one is going to be, you keep the numerator as it is. If you differentiate denominator with respect to t, you get 1 divided by denominator square, that is t square. So, in this we put t is equal to 0. So, on simplifying, we get your mean to be a plus b by 2, because e power 0 is 1. So, on simplifying we get a plus b by 2. Similarly, to calculate expectation of x square, you since it is a continuous distribution, here also you can calculate variance from the your moment generating function. See, whatever the first differentiation you have done, you have to do again second differentiation for your expectation of e power t x. So, on doing second differentiation and put t is equal to 0, we get the value for e of x square. So, on substituting in this, we get your variance to be b minus a whole square divided by 2. So, in this case of uniform distribution, there are lot of examples. First one is, if you take the brake shoe, so whenever the vehicle is moving, it has got a constant maintenance over the interval a b, and if you go beyond that, if you change the gear, then you are going to get another function, and you have variation between the first one and second one. This is a simple example for uniform distribution, and here uniform distribution is a continuous probability distribution, where we have many applications in different industries. And another important thing is, we have the characteristic of uniform distribution, how you apply uniform distribution for different types of situations. And here the first one is, whenever you take any graphical structure, uniform distribution, you can easily see that it is constant over the different interval. If I take interval a1 b1, you get a horizontal axis, and if you take a c1 and d1, you get a vertical axis, and in this way you can form a rectangular distribution. So, uniform distribution is also called a important characteristic of continuous distribution. Summary: in this session we learnt about geometric distribution, negative binomial distribution with the simple properties and problems based on them. Then we have seen uniform distribution, which is an important continuous probability distribution with the simple properties of your uniform distribution. Thank you.